What's up, peoples of IRC and elsewhere? This is Undefeatable Twilight. Just wanted to make a quick ranty style video about 10 trivial things that really do kind of bother me. But first, let me start off with the disclaimer that this is me being overly serious and nitpicky and basically my usual self. Just because these things bother me doesn't mean they have to bother you. You can live your life the way you want, and just have fun with it. So I know that most of these will be regarding the English language, and I'm well aware that language is a constantly changing and evolving thing. So what's wrong now might be right in a couple of hundred years, or even maybe a couple of decades, I don't know. But for now they are still wrong, and that's why it bothers me. And also forgive me for the sound of my computer in the background. I'm using it to prop up my phone, and I didn't want to turn it off just for this video. I just couldn't be bothered to do that. So let's begin. I haven't really scripted this, but I do have the list on my computer behind me. There's another reason why I'm keeping it on, so I'm going to go through them point by point. And these are not ordered in any way, by the way. They're just 10 random things that bother me. So number one is jealous versus envious. This is something I hear a lot of people, like almost everyone I know for that matter, always uses jealous when they mean envious. Jealous means that you're afraid that something you have or something you own that is dear to you, whether that be a possession or a loved one or whatever, will be lost or be taken away by someone else. That is what jealous means. Envious means when you want something that someone else has. Not really, but that's kind of what it means. And there is a third word which no one really uses anymore, which even further complicates the whole thing, which is covetous. And covetous is actually what I said envious just means now, that you actually want the specific thing that someone else has. So for instance, if you see your neighbour's got a really nice car, you say, oh, I'm so jealous of them, they got such a nice car. That is not what you mean at all, because that is the precise opposite of what you mean. In fact, if you had a nice car, then you might be jealous because you might be worried that your neighbours might steal it or something. But if they have a nice car, then you are either, if you want the specific car that they have, you actually want to take their car and have it for yourself, then you are covetous. But if you just want to get an even better car so you can one-up them, then you are envious. See the difference? So jealous is when you have something that you're afraid is going to be taken away. Covetous is when you want something that someone else has, and envious is when you want to get something even better that someone else has, essentially making them envious of you. And this also has become a problem in certain religious circles, because one of the 10 commandments in Christian religions is it's actually thou shalt not covet, meaning basically don't want what other people have, just be thankful for what you have. But it's sometimes been translated as do not be envious, which is slightly worse, but not too bad. But some people, sometimes it's been translated as do not be jealous, which is basically not entirely what it means at all. So it's caused a lot of problems. And even God himself is described in early chapters of the Bible in the Old Testament as a jealous God, and that what that means isn't that he's envious. It means that he's jealous. He's afraid that something he has that is dear to him, i.e. his followers, his worshippers, will be taken away by someone else, i.e. another god. That's the whole monotheistic religion concept, that thou shalt not have any gods before me, thou shalt not worship false idols, blah blah blah. So that's the whole envious versus jealous debate. Number two, the reason is because is a phrase that, again, a lot of people use, and a lot of people don't even know why it's wrong, or even that it is wrong, but it is. And I didn't know this either, but now that I do, it's kind of, I'm noticing it every time. I'm like, someone says the reason, blah blah blah, and I'm thinking, don't say because, so that it's because of, god damn it, people. Okay, here's the thing. this is very complicated, and I'm going to admit not even I understand this fully. But that's the reason this is wrong is that so no, I didn't use the word because. Notice because as a word is an adverb which describes or modifies a verb, and it begins an adverbial phrase. So, for instance, I'm trying to think of an example, but nothing is coming to my mind. But basically, you say, like, the car was very fast because, you know, it was a sports car or something. I don't know. But basically that's what it is. Because begins an adverbial phrase. And what an adverbial phrase cannot do is it cannot modify a subject. And the reason is, in the sentence like that, would be the subject of the sentence. So basically you've got two incompatible sentence parts next to each other. They don't match up. Because blah 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 cannot do anything to modify the reason is blah 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 blah. The reason blah 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 is. It doesn't work. It's just they don't go together. That's simple as that. It's like trying to fit two jigsaw puzzle pieces together that don't fit together. It just won't go. So, the best way to fix this would be either what I did earlier, replace because with that, which turns the whole sentence into a noun phrase. The reason is that, or just remove that and just have the reason is blah blah blah. Or just rewrite the whole sentence to remove reason entirely. So the sentence, for example, the reason we were late is because we had a flat tyre, is wrong. But you can either make it the reason we were late is that we had a flat tyre, or is we had a flat tyre, or just we were late because we had a flat tyre, and that would be fine. But the reason blah 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 cannot be followed by is because blah blah blah, because that doesn't make any sense, and it's just the two sentence parts are not compatible with each other. Number 3. American viewers will not understand this, but we have a supermarket chain in the UK called Tesco. It is called Tesco. It is not called Tesco's. I hear so many people calling it Tesco's, and even my parents growing up would consistently call it Tesco's. All my relatives refer to it as Tesco's. It is Tesco. It's printed above the door on every single shop in big letters, Tesco. There is no S at the end. There's, I think, the most likely reason for this is that they are getting it confused with another widespread UK chain supermarket called Sainsbury's, which does actually have an apostrophe S on the end, and you know they combine Sainsbury's and Tesco in their mind and create Tesco's, but no, it is Tesco supermarket, okay? Also, similar thing, same point, but another supermarket chain is a Marks and Spencer, not Marks and Spencer's. It's Marks, no apostrophe, because it's just Marks. That was the guy's name. He was something Marks, I forget his surname, and some other guy called Spencer, who founded the chain originally. So that's why it's called Marks and Spencer. It's not Marks and Spencer's. It sounds like it should be because it's their shop, it's their chain, it's what they founded. But the shop's name, again, is displayed quite clearly above every shop door, Marks and Spencer. So, there. No possessive. Tesco, Marks and Spencer. Got it? Good. Okay, let's move on. Number 4, and this is something David Mitchell has also done a video about, and I'm going to try not to repeat everything he said, but I might end up doing that anyway. The phrase, people, is I couldn't care less, not I could care less. I don't care what kind of flimsy excuse you're coming up with, like, maybe I could care less, but it would take enormous effort kind of thing. No, it's wrong. It's a mistake. It originated as a mistake. Stop trying to defend it. If you're saying you could care less, it implies you do care at least some amount, which is, I hope at least, the opposite of what you're trying to convey. I couldn't care less means that you couldn't care less, and that is what you mean. So for once, people say what you mean. Number 5. I think this is kind of dying out now, but there are some people who still do this, and I'm here to set the record straight. There are quite a few people, including qualified English teachers, worryingly, who insist that the phrase "I feel bad" is only to be used to describe the fact that your sense of touch is functioning improperly, and that the proper way to say that you don't feel well is "I feel badly." This is complete nonsense, and in fact the inverse is true. Again, I'm getting into technical grammar stuff here. In the phrase "I feel bad," bad is a predicate adjective modifying the subject I, and linked to it by the linking verb feel, hence I feel bad. In the phrase "I feel badly," badly is an adverb that modifies the verb feel, so it's describing specifically how you feel, as in how you feel things, how you touch things. So "I feel bad" means I, myself, am unwell, bad being the adjective modifying I. "I feel badly" means I don't feel, as in feel, touch things, very well. Badly, again, modifying the verb feel rather than the subject I. This is one of many results of the rather misguided attempt by Victorian schoolmasters and people of that era to try to make English grammar follow the rules of Latin grammar, which makes about as much sense as trying to make it follow the rules of Japanese grammar. Because English is not Latin. English has very little, if anything, to do with Latin, and trying to make it have anything to do with Latin just invites disaster. This is also where the don't split infinitives and don't end a sentence with a preposition rule came from, which do not exist in English. A lot of people say they do. Let's say you can't say she's a great person to hang around with, because it's ending a sentence with a preposition, and you should say, actually I don't know how I should rephrase that. She is a good person with whom to hang around, is what you should say. That's complete nonsense. Just ignore anyone who says that. It's fine to end a sentence with a preposition. It's fine to split an infinitive, to boldly go where no man has gone before. It's perfectly grammatical English. But yeah, returning to the original point, "I feel bad" versus "I feel badly." As a general rule, whenever you engage, as a general rule, look in the sense of looking a certain way, as in you look good today, or whatever, you look pretty, rather than looking at something with your eyes. Feel, touch, taste, smell, and all forms of to be do not take adverbs. So, for instance, "it tastes good" means that its taste is pleasing to you. "It tastes well" means that it's very good at tasting things. See? So, yeah. So basically, "I feel bad" is the correct way to say that you aren't feeling too good, or well, or whatever. Okay, moving on. This is not English grammar related, for once. And I've seen someone else rant about this before, but I kind of can get behind it. So, the London, again, this is UK centric. The London area code is 020, 3 digits. It is not 0207, 0208, or 0203. The London phone numbers are 020, 4 digits, 4 digits. So 3-digit area code and then an 8-digit local code. You can watch Tom Scott's Tom Rant About Phone Numbers for roughly 60 minutes video to find out why this is how it is, because UK phone numbers have a long and complicated history behind them. But the point is that London's area code is 020, 3 digits, and Nottingham has 4 digits in their area code, 0118. It's not 01189. It's 0118, 4 digits, and then the local part has a 9 in front of it. And again, Tom Scott explains why they did that in his video. Like Manchester and Birmingham and all those other big cities, it has a 4-digit area code with 9 added onto the start of the local code part, because UK, I don't know if this is the same way they do it in America, but in the UK we have phone numbers split into two parts. We have the area code, which tells you which area you're dialing to, fairly obviously from the name, and then the local part, which tells you specifically which phone within that area you are dialing to. And most area codes are 5 digits. They used to be 4, but then people started running out of numbers, so they had to put a 1 in it and make it 5. So it used to be where I grew up in Gloucester, or nearabouts it anyway. It used to be 0524, and then it changed to 01524. But some cities, they didn't do this. Instead, they changed the area code to 4 digits and added an extra number to the next part, Nottingham being one of those places. So instead of whatever it was becoming 01 blah blah blah, they made the area code 0118, 4 digits, and then added a 9 to that part. Unfortunately, not many people understood this, and even now, in like over 20 years later, you'll still see signs up in Nottingham that say that the area code is 015, sorry, not 018. You'll still see signs up in Nottingham that say the area code is 01159, 5 digits. But yeah, it's 4 digits. So, original point, London area code is 020, not 0207 or 0208 or 0203, just 020. Okay, good. Number 7. This, I know, is a hot topic for a lot of grammar enthusiasts, grammar police or grammar Nazis, or whatever you like to call them. The word literally. It doesn't mean, it's not just a generic intensifier. If you say, I'm quoting from Dinosaur Comics here, I know, but I think it's funny. If you say, I could literally eat a horse, I'm going to put a horse in... Well, I'm not actually going to do that, because I don't know where I would get a horse from, but if you say, oh, I'm so hungry I could literally eat a horse, I would like to put a whole horse in front of you and watch you eat it. Again, literally does not just act as a generic intensifier. It does actually have meaning. It means that I am saying these words with their exact meaning, no metaphorical or hyperbolic or hyperbole or exaggeration implied. So people say it's not a generic intensifier, that's fine. But there's another problem with using the word literally, that people put it in where it's technically not wrong to use it, but it's not really necessary. For instance, you say, I literally ate 3 cupcakes, as opposed to metaphorically ate 3 cupcakes. You just say, I ate 3 cupcakes. Why do you need to put literally there? It serves literally no purpose. It's just a blank word, just inserted for no good reason. You know, if you're saying like, I don't know, for instance, kind of thing I could say, I was literally glued to my seat because you didn't realise that someone had put glue on your seat. That's fine, because being glued to your seat is also a metaphorical expression, meaning that you were riveted in whatever you were watching or whatever. So that's fine. But just why it's like people just add literally in as it seems almost not even an intensifier anymore. It's like more like a filler word. It's like they think that they feel like something should go in here, but they're not entirely sure what. So I just throw literally in there. It's fine. Just stop, okay? Just stop abusing this poor word. It's being way overworked, and it's getting out of hand. Just no, stop it. And another thing, slightly related to that, is a lot of people who try to correct people who use the word literally wrong, basically saying it when they mean figuratively, will often say that you mean figuratively, but that doesn't really work, because that wouldn't have the right kind of impact. In fact, figuratively would actually weaken the sentence. If you said, I could figuratively eat a horse, that's like, what? Yeah, okay. It's an expression. We know it's an idiom. We know you're being figurative. Again, you don't. It's like saying I literally ate 3 cupcakes. We know it's literal. We know it's figurative. You don't have to point that out. What they actually mean is an actual intensifier, like really or extremely. So like, oh, I could really eat a horse. That's fine. That's because that's an intensifier. And admittedly, a lot of these intensifiers did actually start out meaning the same thing that literally does. Really, truthfully, absolutely, even very comes from verily, which means truthfully. So, so it seems like literally it's just going the way that those other ones went, but it still hasn't gone there yet. So, lay off the word literally. Okay, don't just insert it randomly in any sentence. Okay, so moving on. Number 8, substitute. Another thing that a lot of people get wrong, and even I get this wrong on occasion, I have to admit. To substitute one thing for another means to get rid of the other and replace it with the one. Okay? Now you might think, oh, wait, isn't it the other way around? But no. There is a difference between substitute for and substitute with. If you say, for example, in hot weather I substitute Wait, I'm mixed up in my head now. Why? Sure. Yeah, if you say in hot weather I substitute shorts for jeans, what you're actually... I'm confusing myself now. Give me a second. This is why I didn't script this, so I didn't think I would get this wrong, but I'm just really confusing myself now. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, so basically if you say in hot weather I substitute jeans for shorts, that's the opposite of what you actually mean. What you should have said was I substitute shorts for jeans, or substitute jeans with shorts and replace jeans with shorts would be even better. So like I said, even I get this wrong, and you can see even now I got confused about it. But basically the thing is that if you're saying I substitute A for B, it means to get rid of B and replace it with A. You think of it as like in football, soccer, whatever you call it, when you have a substitute player, that player substitutes for another player who's injured. So instead you're substituting this guy who's sitting on the bench for that guy who just got injured and now has to go off the field. Or if you're not a sporty type, then just think of substitute teachers. The substitute teacher substitutes for the other teacher who's ill or on holiday or got fired or whatever. So yeah, substitute A for B means to get rid of B and replace it with A, not the other way around. Okay, moving on. The next one, and this is a thing that is very personal to me because my general life and stuff, both as a grammar person, I hesitate to say grammar Nazi because that has such a negative connotation, but as a person who is passionate about grammar and also a person who is themselves trans, the proper term is transgender, not transgendered. This has gotten better in later years. You'll hear the correct transgender instead of the common but wrong transgendered being used more often now. But yeah, it's a continuous state of being. You are a transgender. It's not like something that happens. It's already an adjective. That's just them make it simple. Transgender is already an adjective. And again, that's another one thing I want to rant about. It is an adjective. It's not a noun. You cannot say that this person is a transgender. That doesn't make sense. You can say they're a transgender person, because that's an adjective, or you can say they are transgender, because that's there's an adjective describing them. But you can't say they are a transgender. That doesn't work. It's just wrong. It's an adjective, it's not a noun. So again, because transgender is already an adjective, saying transgendered, basically adding the ed on with is the adjectival form, is just redundant, because you're adjectiving an adjective. Basically you're doing it's transgender. Okay, I am transgender, I am a transgender person. That's how it goes. I am not a transgender. That doesn't make sense. That's like saying I am an English. An English what? Exactly. It's an adjective, it's not a noun. So, final one, number 10, and this is another thing that David Mitchell talked about. The phrase people is hold the fort, not hold down the fort. Hold in this case means defend. It doesn't mean like weigh down or physically restrain or anything like that. If you're saying, can you hold the fort, it's basically, military analogy. Basically you are defending the fort, i.e. your house or whatever it is, until that person gets home. Hold down the fort doesn't make any possible sense whatsoever, unless you are in, like David Mitchell said, either it's an inflatable fort and it will float away if someone doesn't hold it down. Again, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's hold the fort, not hold down the fort. Okay, so that's all. I wasn't expecting this to go on for so long, but hopefully this was at least somewhat entertaining for you guys. So look out for my next story time, next Wednesday at the usual time. Whatever that is, sometime in the evening, I guess. And until then, take care. Have a nice day. Love and peace.